Okay, I think now everyone should be a discussion participant who's pitching today. And I would like to welcome you to our today's pitch session. My name is Nathalie from the Contact Point of Knowledge and Technological Transfer at the Saarland University called Gründercampus Saar. It's been already a long but really interesting day with several different topics, experts, and hopefully fruitful conversations. Therefore, I'm even more pleased to welcome you to our last session for today, Inside Greater Region Pitching Session Round 1. We've called for startups located in the greater region, and are very pleased to welcome 6 startups who will have each 5 minutes to pitch their idea. Following up to each pitch, you will have the time to ask questions, and questions can be asked via chat or by raising your virtual hand. But before we start with the actual session, some few housekeeping rules. Please note that the session will be recorded. If you don't want to be shown by your name, please feel free to change it in the session settings. Questions, as already mentioned, can be asked by raising your hand or via chat. And note that this session will not be translated and will be held completely in English. And now I would like to introduce Steffen Reckenwald from Seismic to you. Seismic developed a microfluid-based platform for advanced hematological diagnostics, assist therapy decisions making, and improve patient safety. Their technology enables a high throughput AI-powered assessment of the morphology and functionality of blood on a cellular level. Steffen, you've got 5 minutes and the stage is yours.
All right, so I hope you can hear me, and I also hope that the control is now working. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Steffen, and with our startup Seismic, we have the vision to help patients that need blood transfusions. So perfect, this is working. And why is it important? Well, the problem is if you consider blood bags, for example, like this, that you might need after an accident, for example, or due to chronic illness, that those bags are tested for infectious diseases like HIV, hepatitis. But at the moment, there's no technology available to test if the cells, if the blood cells in such a donation are actually functioning. And as a consequence, they might be removed from your body directly after the transfusion. And as a result, it often comes to complications after blood transfusions that might even lead to death. We at Seismic, we developed a solution for that, which we call the AeriSense technology. And our technology only uses one single drop of blood from a patient's or blood donation, for example, to assess the quality and functionality of that donation. It is an automated system that uses an artificial intelligence, or an AI, to detect if the cells inside such a solution or sample are healthy or damaged. And we use these red blood cells in flow as a general biomarker. You can see on the lower left here 2 examples of a healthy cell in flow that is functioning and a non-healthy damaged cell on the lower left. And if you as a non-expert can tell the difference, then our trained AI can so do too. The system itself consists of this point-of-care device that we built, which is roughly the size of a small coffee maker. It will be sold together with a consumable product that is used and required for the testing of each individual sample, and together with a cloud-based artificial intelligence to analyze the samples and to give the user a feedback result, which is sold here as a software service. We at Seismic address a broad bio and medtech market. It can be used, for example, the device with respect to blood donations here in hospitals to check if a blood donation is of a good quality before giving it to a patient. We estimate this market segment with a TAM of roughly 2 billion euros based on the number of hospitals in the top 33 countries in the world, which is rather a lower limit as an estimation. But we also identified other potential customers, for example, blood banks. Yeah, they can use our ARISense technology to test their bags before actually shipping them to hospital where they are needed. The pharma industry is a big customer. They can use our technology to test novel products, for example, but not on a real person, but just on a blood sample and see how their drug development works. Dialysis systems or centers are a big customer. If you think about that, these patients receive dialysis treatments on a regular basis, so they can be tested in advance if they're actually in need of a treatment or if they might skip it, so we can improve their well-being and the patient treatment here. And of course, other R&D departments or biotech companies can use our device as a quality check tool. We developed this tool at Seismic, which at the moment consists of 5 people, the team. My colleague Stefan, Greta, Marceli, and Lars, and myself, Stefan. We have a broad background in physics, biology, chemical, and biomedical engineering. And at Saarland University, where we are currently located, we streamlined these different backgrounds to come up with the ARISense technology, where we combine the artificial intelligence together with the microscopy part. And we already accomplished a couple of fundings from different pools. And for our next steps, we are looking for biotech and medtech investors, and also for relevant networks in this biotech and medical and medtech fields. And we're also looking for seed funding of 500,000 euros to build our first hardware pilot series, which we will roll then out to our first customer segment. So if you're interested in our startup, I'd be happy to connect with you either via our webpage, which can be directly reached with this QR code, or you can just write me a mail or meet with here on Zoom. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and your time.
Perfect. Thank you for your presentation. Have we got any questions right now? If you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or ask a question in the chat. We haven't received any questions right now. Stefan, would you like to speak or explain a bit more about in which sectors you can provide your analysis? You've told us about pharma, you've told us about patient care. So would you or could you say something a bit more about it?
Yes, sure. So maybe you have the control now. You can go back to the market slide to give people an overview of this section. I mean, the market, the bio and medtech market is of course quite big, but we with our technology can here address all the different market segments where blood or blood cells play a role. So if you go back to this blood transfusion field, of course you have in mind the blood banks. Yeah, at the moment they tested for infectious diseases, but this blood has to be stored. In Germany, it's stored for 42 days. And over this time, it can deteriorate, but it can also be stored longer. And this could, for example, be tested with our technology. So at the moment, we are all aware due to Corona and a couple of catastrophes that blood donations are very scarce. So this is, for example, a field where our ARISense technology can be used as a quality check tool. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for your presentation.
Thanks for your time.
Any one of you got questions, we will still have some time in the aftermath. Otherwise, feel free to book a meeting via B2Match tomorrow, or if you need any contact data, feel free to hit us up. Next up will be Adrian Wegener from iBuildit. iBuildit was developed, or iBuildit developed the iBuildit Creator and iTracked 3D program for people with physical disabilities. They enable their users, despite their physical disabilities, to express themselves creatively, to be part of an inclusive community and create physical objective just with their eyes. I will open your presentation for you. Just a second. And hand you the remote.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So yes, I'm Adrian Wegner. I'm the founder and CEO of the iBuild GmbH. And what we are doing is, I don't have control. I can move the slides. Maybe
Try it again.
Now it works. Okay, in the bottom corner. Perfect. So what we are doing is we are addressing the topic of digital inclusion. When we think about inclusion, we often think about the physical world with how we have to build our buildings in order to have them accessible for wheelchairs or people with other disabilities to get inside the building, to interact in the building. But most often we don't think about these things in the digital world. And that is one topic we address in our company. And we are trying to get this thinking that is almost everywhere in the physical world to the digital world, to help people have software that is inclusive by having different kinds of interactions with it, by having different kinds of designs for it, to make it accessible even for people that are blind, have problems reading, for people that have mental disabilities, cognitive disabilities, and all that, to bring more people together in the same solutions. So the main project we are currently working on is the iBuild Creator. That is a program that is completely just used with your eyes. You don't need a mouse or keyboard, and you don't need these kinds of physical interactions. It's just eye controlled. And what we are doing is you get, like you see under this monitor, like a little infrared camera that you can buy just on the regular market. And that knows where you're looking on the monitor. We are working with this data and creating designs to create complex projects that enable you to, in this case, be creative. And we also decided to have a creative program where you're using little bricks, like you would with Lego bricks or Minecraft, to address all different kinds of age groups, because this, of course, works for children, but also for older age groups that have never used a PC before, maybe just because they haven't the chance in the past, or maybe they had a disability that prevented them from it. So we have like one system that everybody is understanding, have a design that is intuitive and easily controlled by the eyes, and is more accessible than other eye track solutions out there. And then you can create every kind of 3D model, can share them in the digital world, completely inclusive, comment, work together, download files from others, build big scenes, and so on. And in the end, you also can bring all this stuff back into the physical world. Like you see in the bottom right corner of this presentation, this is a 3D print in colored sandstone of the model you see on the monitor. So we try to give people that are currently in a form disabled that prevents them to interact with the physical world, to have this digital world as a sub-step in between to recreate this connection to the physical world. And the focus for us is especially on the design, and as a company that is awarded by the German government, the European Union, United Nations, and many more on this form of digital inclusive design, we are also trying to not just do our one key project right now, but also to help other people that are producing software to build more inclusive digital worlds. And what we are currently searching for is, on the one side, people that need these kinds of support in these fields, building software, building inclusive solutions, and also for the iBuild Creator, we're currently kickstarting our early access. So that means the first customers can use the program, get a feel for it, get feedback, and we are still furthering along the development and bringing more features in. But it's already finished. We can already work with it, and we're just looking for great feedback and partners. And if you want to give feedback and be a partner, or have any other questions, these are my contact information where you can reach me the easiest way, and check out social media for some nice more pictures of our 3D models. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
I have to thank you, Adrian, for your presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them either by raising your hand or via chat.
Okay, I see in the chat the question, who uses the system already? Actually, that's quite an interesting question, because we have different kinds of customers. Some of them are private persons that just do this for their spare time, just to have some creative work. And also we have some healthcare facilities and schools for people with disabilities that use this to entertain them, to educate them on new technologies, to get them excited about the digital world and possibilities in it, and also in some forms for creative therapy. So the field is very broad, and it's even getting broader currently, because we get, because of the inclusive design, a lot of feedback from innovation spaces, maker spaces, fab labs, and so on, that want to use this program for children, because they can't use like these over complex industry 3D programs if they want to learn stuff about a 3D printer. So our program, because it's so inclusive, works for everybody, and so the user group just keeps growing.
Thank you, Adrian, for your answer. One last question I've always wanted to ask you. What was your motivation behind it? How did you came up with this idea?
Essentially, it was like, I'm a designer. I'm coming from mostly interaction design. So how do you interact with your PC, with what kinds of devices and what kinds of interactions? And I was always fascinated by these eye control systems. But in all the research I did in my studies, I always found that the hardware is super great, but the software until then was super loveless developed and looked almost like Windows XP stuff, and was very old and not really working for how you're interacting with your eyes, because it's not working like a normal cursor of a mouse. And so that was essentially the challenge I started with, to find a new design and interaction language to have great eye tracking experiences. And what we currently have is that, like, almost every user we have that beforehand had an eye tracker is telling us, like, okay, I already used eye tracking and was always so annoying and so stressful. I never would have guessed that there's a way around it, and you found it. So it seems to work, but that was in the beginning just a challenge to get a new design language, I guess. Thank
you. And now I would like to introduce to you Anne-Christine Koch from Mogi OK. Mogi OK, called Mobilitätsgestaltungskonzept, designs your concept around the topic of mobility in your company, from distribution to financing to modern drive concept. Anne-Christine, the stage is yours, and I will provide you with your presentation.
Thank you. So very warm welcome from my side. So there was one E too much in my name, but it's, yeah, I'm happy to see Anne-Christine. So often I see Anne-Katrine or Anne-Sophie, so it's more likely my name. So I would like to present to you the Mogio K GmbH. I founded the company 3.5 years ago, and it differed from what you have presented already. So we try to follow the goal of making alternative driving concepts convertible for sectors and companies. I try to get to, yeah, thank you. And we set the goal that we have to create sector-specific solutions to face the challenge of the mobility turnaround. And what came up in our mind was that we have the issue of obsolete structures in the mobility sectors and less solutions for sectors which are predestined for the usage of vehicles with alternative engines. What does it really mean? So I can get to the new, yeah, now it works. So what does it really mean? On the first step, we try to focus on offering vehicle solutions. So that means that we try to find the most predestined sector where we can use an electric vehicle. That means maybe less kilometers to drive per day, planned standing times, etc. And we were looking for a model that we could convert. So we have chosen an electric brand, Maxus, from Psych Maxus, and we have chosen a panel van because 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it was the only LCV which was available at the market due to the focus of last mile solutions in the logistics sector. But was our goal, we think that mobility is an overall need. And due to this, we were focusing on several issues that we have to face in our community. And one of it was the demographic change and the demographic structure we have. So the society gets older and we have many people that have to face the offer or the small offer of mobility solutions. And we would like to make a final product which is usable for people with limited own mobility. And the final product was a wheelchair accessible vehicle. We were the only one on the market which offers such a vehicle for this kind of sector. And I try to go further, yeah. And that's why we would like to follow the approach of mobility as a basic need. Many people have problems in getting from A to B, and they have to face other challenges in terms of mobility. So what we would like to ensure is that we have players at the market which could refinance products that ensure mobility for everybody. So we would like to create a diverse portfolio, especially sector-specific conversions with alternative engines. And we would like to create alternatives to purchases by offering rental solutions. What means rental solutions? We have chosen the perspective of the total cost of ownership. So what makes the implementation of electric vehicle accessible for companies? And this could be, one factor could be money. So at the moment, many people or companies fear to buy electric vehicle due to technical progress. And due to the pressure of climate change, we have to use alternative engines to step forward. And what was a second mainstay due to our project of converting a panel van is the business development in terms of supporting manufacturers by creating sector-specific offers. So make their portfolio much bigger than just offering an LCV in the market, and supporting and enable companies by extending their fleet by electric vehicles or vehicles with alternative engines instead of combustion engines. So we try to focus on the so-called Projektgedanke. So the ideas behind not only offer a panel van, electric one, or any kind of engine to a customer. We would like to plan it and to structure it into a project so that we can ensure that the usability, the usage of an electric vehicle is accessible for anyone. So all-around carefree mobility, wheelchair accessible. We would like to act as a niche supplier and would like to offer 100% electric solutions, which means mobility that fits to all.
Thank you, Mrs. Koch. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, as I already said, either via chat or by raising your hand. You have said that this will be an even bigger problem for us in our demographic change. Do you think there need to be new ways of transportation coming up in the next couple of years, or do we have just to change the way we look at these things and the way we transport people, or maybe will there be even different ways to communicate and interact?
Yeah, so I guess it starts by rethinking the understanding of mobility. So at the moment, almost everybody uses their own car due to less offer in the public people transportation sector. So, and the OEM tried to focus on individual cars or just panel vans for logistical sectors. And there's less focus on niche market, which would be destined for the usage of vehicle with an alternative engine, and they don't think in terms of the challenges we have to face. So demographic change is one of the biggest ones. The society gets older and we have to offer mobility solutions for them. So they have to, we have to ensure that they could follow the technical progress, that they won't miss any opportunity for them to use mobility in a new manner. And for me, it was important that sectors, because at the moment, we try to step from a combustion engine to an electric one, but that's not the solution. So we need concepts in this sector to make this change successful, as well as for companies, as for individuals, for people, for the private sector. So it means that we need solutions to ensure mobility for everyone. And even if it's harder to make an offer because the market is smaller, so that's maybe the explanation, or that's maybe the explanation why we didn't have any portfolio for the people transportation sector, especially for the people with handicap. 5,000 vehicles will be converted each day by the market leader in this sector, but it's less if we compare it to the vehicles that get sold to individuals. So the smaller vehicles, such as we have used everybody of us in an individual manner every day. So I guess that the OEM just focused on how many units they could sell per year, and that would be the most efficient way of stepping forward into using alternative engines. Perfect,
thank you. I now would like to welcome on our stage Charles-Antoine Robert from AmnaNote, our first French startup for today. AmnaNote is an application for the medicine of tomorrow, allowing a simple and fast visualization of the patient's characteristics and his care through his hospitalization through a collaborative note-taking system. Mr. Robert, I will show your presentation and hand you over the control. The stage is yours.
Okay. So is it working? Okay. So good afternoon. Thank you for the presentation. I am Charles-Antoine Robert, CEO of Anamnot, a medical software company, and I will present to you our electrical health record project that is called ACRIS. Currently, patient at the hospital as a medical record. This medical record that is even digital is basically the same as a long page of information. Each practitioner enters data consecutively in the medical observation in natural language. Imagine the search for information in such a record for elderly patients that are coming for years to the hospital for the follow-up of various and varied pathology for years or even for decades. This information form a long, very long parchment ranging from a few lines to several thousand pages. The direct consequences is that we see more and more people bringing the medical record that they keep up to date themselves to be sure to provide all the necessary information for the good treatment of themselves or their relatives. Thus, the reliability of the data is no longer guaranteed in the hospital in France. Our solution, ACRIS, is an electronic health record that allows innovative structuration of medical information. Okay, ACRIS. Before you see what type of electronic health record that were used today in France, and after what new type of ergonomic interface we have today with ACRIS. And then where we are stuck with current non-ergonomic solutions that are difficult to upgrade and are ergonomically more like an airliner cockpit, ACRIS provides a personalized interface that evolves with the complexity of the case. It makes it possible to represent all medical information in the form of a mind map that we call a med map at Anamnot, by making references to numerous national and international databases that are structured by our system. This is the image you see on the left of the second picture. ACRIS also allows the care workers to customize their interfaces with the granularity going as far as the pathology itself, thanks to numerous templates that can be structured by the community. ACRIS saves, though, organizes and simplifies the patient's medical history while making the search in this history much simpler and extremely faster. Our proposal is that of a structured representation of medical data, which makes it possible to aggregate, classify, and label data in a decentralized and anonymous manner to increase scientific value of the data that are not used today. This structured process allows us to propose some more automatized features like coding of acts, the TEDOA in French, which make it possible to achieve substantial saving for the hospital, where bad coding leads up to losses around 20% of revenue. All of this in compliance with French and European legislation on data. It is not functioning. Okay, the team is composed with 3 associates and 7 other profiles that are dedicated to the project. Paul Renew, our technical director, with a 2-year technical degree in computer science, and then a master degree in cognitive science and artificial intelligence in Nancy. Romain Didier, Chief Executive Officer with a biomedical engineer degree at Polytech here in Nancy. And me, Charles-Antoine Robert, Chief Executive Officer with 6 years of training of medical school, and then a 2 years degree in cognitive science and artificial intelligence here in Nancy too. We are also associated with the University Hospital in Nancy as a part of a collaboration contract on the project for the performance of our user tests. Today, the prototype of the app is complete, and we are halfway through the development of our minimum viable product. Our partnership with the University Hospital Center in Nancy has allowed us to set up a continuous development process with numerous user tests at each improvement of the application. And our minimum viable product will be completed around March 2022, allowing marketing to begin around that time. For the future, we are planning a fundraiser with the aim of increasing our forces in research and development by adding highly specialized human resources in both our IT development team and our sales team. We are now looking for business partners to co-develop complementary solutions for better interoperability between medical establishments. All of these elements will allow the support of change to a better digital environment for the hospital, towards to prepare the hospital for data valuation and the upcoming artificial intelligence revolution. Because for many years, the time that medics spends on medical documentation, that is to say the production, the research, and the synthesis of medical information has exploded. It now represents in France 40% of the doctor's time and imposes a cost of 35,000 euros on the community. We are aiming with our system to reduce this medical documentation time by half. And with this, our ultimate goal is to put the patient back at the center of medical thinking, thanks to better prevention, better personalization of the cares, and better prediction. Thanks for your attention. And if you have any question, I look forward to answer it. I hope that was not too quick, because I had so much to say in only 5 minutes.
I could absolutely follow your presentation, and if anyone thought it would be too quick, you will always have the chance to hit up Mr. Robert tomorrow or anytime later if you have any questions left.
Exactly.
Feel free to ask them now. In between, I'd would like to ask you, what's your go-to-market plan? So you're selling this software to hospitals, and they're gonna pay by each document file they implemented. They're gonna have a monthly subscription. So how's your business plan?
The business model is that licensing. We have this first business model that is the model of the environment in France for those type of application. So we have a price that I can't not talk about at that time, but the price will be paid by the hospital for every medics that use the application. Switching from one EHR to another is difficult for an hospital. So at the beginning, all the licensing that the hospital will take the hospital will only be charged for the license that are used. So it's decrease the number of amount to pay for the hospital, and then later this will be a contract with the hospital for forfait. I don't know how to say it in English, but this will be better for them in the time coming.
Okay, thank you. I would now like to introduce Tristan Keller from BioMire, our second startup for today, to you. BioMire makes microbiology accessible to all structures whenever the size of the expertise of its employees. And Mr. Robert, okay, now I've got my remote control back. And I will give the stage to Mr. Keller.
Thanks to introduce me. Hello, everybody. I will just take the control of tech. I ask you, is it fine? Tech. I do not really understand how to change, but I will begin. I'm Tristan Keller, sales developer for BioMire in Strasbourg. We are a company specialized in industrial hygiene. Christopher and Christine, the founders, collaborate for over 20 years in the field of industrial microbiology testing. They are inventor or co-inventor of about 13 patents. Our mission is to help our customers to explore the invisible microbiological universe around them, help them to understand what they find and decide how to react. Now, I need your help to understand how to... Okay, perfect. Whether it is for technical or financial reason or because of lack of adapted offer, hygiene monitoring can be complicated to set up or not offer all these benefits to its user. Nomad solutions meet these two challenges to allow the implementation of an hygiene monitoring plan without investment and without particular know-how, and to make hygiene analysis simple, automatic, and accessible to everyone. To speak more about our present, the sanitary crisis that we have been through has proven the importance of testing, whether they are diagnostic or hygiene tests. We have participated and continue to participate in this fight by proposing rapid and easy to use surface tests for COVID-19. And this need to know and control the invisible environment is still relevant today and is not limited to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. About our solution that you are seeing in the screen, it is why we offer easy to use, cost-effective, and non-additional equipment required microorganism testing device by culture media, like you can see the red tester. This is called the Nomad. It's designed to be simple. It's all-in-one tester for liquid and surfaces. It's made to be easy to use, easy to store, and to don't waste the time of the user, but also ready to go. No dedicated equipment is required. They are ideal for both regular testing campaigns and occasional use. They are efficient, and to finish, they are relevant because the result of this technique of analysis is comparable to those obtained in the lab. We have also developed a free mobile application to facilitate planning, to limit the risk of error, and to support users. The Nomad mobile app is made for operators in the field who are in charge of conducting microbiological analysis in their day-to-day activities. The goal is to avoid the mountain of paper and files. Everything is in one place in our mobile application, which is equipped with multiple recording features to capture operator comments like the pictures, the command field, and the voice recording. From our mobile interface, we will be able to quickly and easily access monitoring programs while taking advantage of an assisted sampling and test management process. Like you see, there is another application, which is a web application online, which allow 360 degrees management of hygiene monitoring by sending tasks to the operators, to the mobile application, centralizing data, analyzing trend, making available our macro wiki, counting automatic colonies by artificial intelligence, etc. The Nomad online application is made for manager in order to enable regular follow-ups on action implemented in the field by operators in the hospital, for example. It allows for peace of mind when managing company activities such as decontamination, effectiveness checks, environmental mapping, analysis of hygiene measure effectiveness, audit and logistic follow-up, etc., etc. Just to summarize, the Nomad microbiology devices and apps are designed for the peace of mind of busy operators who work to eliminate the cost of reputation damage caused by contaminations. To conclude, can you change, please? Thank you. No, the one before. Yes. For who are these solutions for? In the health sector, we can see the hospitals, the private clinics, the laboratories, the service providers for this kind of organization that want to work to have a hygiene place. In the hygiene sector, the cleaning company, the ultra cleaning company, and the auditors, for example, can be interested by our technologies. We work in other sectors like the food and the beverage industry, the water treatment, and the cosmetics. And by application, our devices can help you to manage the potable, purified production water, for example, to help you to have a sanitary conception, decontamination, or investigations. In the process control, we can help you to test every equipment, laboratory or hospital, for example, in the surfaces. And like I said already, we can help you to make your audits. Then we can go to the next slide. I will be happy to answer any question you could have. And you have my data if you want to contact me to have another questions. Thank you for listening me.
Perfect. Thank you. As I already mentioned, you're still able to ask questions, raise your hand, ask questions to the chat. Well done, Mr. Keller. What's right now your status of the project? So what are the next steps regarding the next month or this year?
Our mobile application is already on the stores and it's free. And we are in beta testing, the final phase for the beta testing of the web application, which will be totally ready for the next year. Then for now, most of the functionality are available. But we have so much other ideas to make it better. We are listening the feedback of the customers to make it more aimed on the customers. And about the devices, it's already 2 or 3 years that we are selling it, and it's technology that work already very great. But the logo that you are showing is not our. I don't know who did this mistake, but it's not our logo.
Okay, then I'll have to switch that out. I'm really sorry.
No worries.
And I'll just use this mistake made by me to introduce you Andreas Kremer, our one and only startup today from Luxembourg, ITTM. And I now give him the right on my computer and will start his presentation for him. Just a second. Okay, here we go. The stage is yours.
Nathalie. It's typical if an IT company is taking over IT aspects, something is not working. And obviously, if you have the remote control, you don't have the possibility to unmute yourself. So just another thing I learned in Zoom. Thank you, everybody, for staying so long. Last but not least, yes, a young Luxembourg company. My name is Andreas Kremer, and I'm one of the co-founders and managing director of ITTM. As said, ITTM is a company in Luxembourg, a young one. We started in 2015, and we are a service provider focusing on making data actionable. And we started with the activities, especially in the pharmaceutical industry field, managing data curation in preclinical and clinical studies. And this all initially being done also in grant proposals, H2020 IMI. For the people who don't know, IMI stands for Innovative Medicine Initiative, where 50% of the funding comes actually from FPR, from pharma partners. And these were very prestigious projects where we raised a lot of visibility. As a young company, it was necessary. And also could prove that what we are doing is actually making sense. And recently, I would say 2019, 2020, we moved from pure being in pharma also to what we call digital health services. So we are working more and more with clinical partners, again, helping to make data actionable, helping them with the data management questions and problems. And some of that we heard also in other presentations. And some of you might have heard this afternoon the presentation from Professor Klucken from Luxembourg. There's a lot in the digital health services where data management is now coming in, and we are not having the time to do data curation at the end. All in all, this slide shows you what we are doing. So data management curation, what it means, you see that on the right side. And in the digital health services, what we are doing there is actually really going into the electronic health records, helping to make not only a standardized central data repository or data warehouse, but really also using common data models like the Odyssey OMOP common data model for observational studies to enable federated, secure federated data analysis, which is helping for the GDPR compliance, helping a lot of clinicians actually to start again collaborating and not losing the control about their prestigious clinical information. I'm really happy to present here that since our start in 2015, we got more than 36 projects with 17 business-to-business customers. We have at this moment in time 8 grants, big grants from IMI and H2020, which all helped us to gain the visibility and reputation needed in this field, being a service company. And what really makes me proud, you can say Luxembourg is not big, but nevertheless, in this short period, we became the #2 of all Luxembourg SMEs in terms of, grant contributions from the Commission, and in total, even #6 of all Luxembourg organizations. And I think for a company with 10 people only, that's quite an achievement, and I'm very proud of that. The next slide shows you where we bring this always now towards to, and this is our minimal viable product called Communication for Care. The project idea, the point basically is really bringing all the expertise and experience I mentioned in the previous slide into a cloud-based platform facilitating GDPR-conformed interoperability, and that is for us not just a buzzword, interoperability and linking of the relevant data of patient in the medical field. That's not limited only to EHR data. It can be PRAMs or patient-reported outcomes. It can be questionnaires. It can be variable data, whatever the citizen, the patient would like to have stored, is being stored in a structured way, in a secure manner in a data center in Luxembourg, and can be used for analysis for himself, sharing with the healthcare professionals, and B, obviously as well, enabling all the analytics, all the artificial intelligence, machine learning afterwards. Because one thing which is not on the slide, but very close to my heart is AI and ML is very nice, but if the data quality is not good, well, we all know the sentence, what comes in gets out, and even if it's a nice model. What we also have in mind here, and you see this also on the in the picture on the bottom right, there is a clear connectivity to other players in the ecosystems, if it's a TK in Germany or the eSanté in Luxembourg. So really, this idea, Communication for Care, is designed to coexist seemingly in a wider ecosystem of products. Therefore, it is a bit misleading maybe or confusing. Why do we call it platform or module? We built this in a modular way to be a platform for smaller organizations or being a module in a bigger ecosystem. And mentioning smaller organizations, again, coming from maybe a smaller country, this minimal viable product is planned to be used in the context of the Parkinson-Net in Luxembourg. For the people who don't know, Parkinson disease is a very prominent disease in terms of research in Luxembourg. And with the clinical partners there, we were able to hook up and basically bring in this Communication for Care concept in their Parkinson-Net concept, which is an interdisciplinary serving of the Parkinson patients with up to 18, in total 18 healthcare professionals, and helping the communication, the interaction of all these healthcare professionals on one patient. That's what we are trying to achieve. So we have proven domain expertise. We do definitively create easy synergies, and we do have a very unique combination of skills and expertise, hosting an EBRC in Luxembourg I mentioned. And we are looking for investors mainly at this moment in time, but always are open for partners. And with this, I would like to thank you. My contact details are here. Some of my profiles are with different emails. So if you use this, if you search for me, that's the way you find me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation and your time. What kind of investment are you looking for?
Well, this is, it can come from a strategic investment up to, being a partner organization coming in with other aspects we don't have. we are quite flexible there. But the minimal viable product has to become a product. And that means a lot of investment, and we know where we are coming from and exactly also where we are needing that support and help.
Perfect, thank you. I know it's been a long day already, and therefore I'll be quick. I just wanted to say a few words to you about the PushGR, the Interact project within this event was organized. We as PushGR are a platform for entrepreneurs and students from the greater region, which shall once installed enable each and every one of you to easily expand your company to our neighboring markets through information about the financial and legal frameworks, best practice examples from experienced startups, through matchmaking with partners in each sector of the value chains, investors, institution, and what's on. I myself am the coordinator for PushGR at the Saarland University. So if you're interested in our project, or if you've got any questions regarding founding your company, founding your own company, expanding your knowledge about the neighboring markets, or scaling up your company to one of those, do not hesitate to come with one of my colleagues. Again, thanks to all of you. It's been a really interesting evening, I shall say. I hope you had a great first day. Tomorrow, the program will start at 9 o'clock sharp with the workshop European Health and Care Regions as drivers of change in our health and care system. Note that this workshop will take place in German and will not be translated. You have tomorrow the whole day to book and take part in bilateral meetings. You have 20 minutes with each meeting partner. So if you heard someone, if you met someone today, or you met someone tomorrow, feel free to ask them on a meeting. I now wish you a nice evening. Enjoy your leisure time, and hopefully we'll see us tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Nathalie. Thank you all. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great evening.